Minasan, konnichiwa. Interactive Entity Education no atarashi episodo desu. Kono episodo ni Yamamura Sadako to shitemo shireru Onryō ni suite otsutashimasu. Now in English, hello everyone, Interact back here again with another episode of Entity Education. In this episode, we're going to be covering the Onryō, which I've been told I pronounce incorrectly, probably better known as Yamamura Sadako, or just Sadako. I am a little sick, so I apologize for the voice. As always, there will be the time track will have the chapters and whatever, and there'll be some in the pinned comment if you want to skip around the video. Sadako has slightly different base stats than most normal killers. She does move at the normal 4.6 meters per second or 115% speed, but she only has a terror radius of 24 meters and is extremely short. So let's talk about her power now, Deluge of Fear. There's a fair amount of things that go into this power, so strap in. The first and most obvious one is that Sadako starts off each match demanifested. While demanifested, Sadako isn't really in the quote-unquote real world, so she is unable to attack, but can still influence objects with her psychic telekinesis? By doing things like kicking pallets and generators, vaulting windows, etc. Sadako does have the undetectable status effect while she is demanifested as well, meaning she doesn't give off any terror radius at all, and isn't trackable through survivor perks that would normally reveal a killer's aura. Survivors will still catch brief glimpses of her while she's demanifested. If a survivor is within 24 meters of her, they will see brief glimpses of her flickering in and out of reality. She'll become visible for 1.5 seconds to any survivor in range, and then become invisible for 1 second. And this cycle will just continue on while survivors are in range and while she's demanifested. Sadako is able to manifest herself into the real world in 2 methods, technically 3, since you do manifest if you pick up a downed survivor off the ground or out of a locker while demanifested, but we'll not really count that one. We'll start with the most basic way, just manually manifesting. This can be accomplished by pressing and holding down mouse 2 on PC for 1.5 seconds. Sadako will become slowed during the manifestation, bringing her down to 3.68 meters per second or 92% speed after manifesting for 0.2 seconds. This essentially just means that if for some reason you want to just tap mouse 2 over and over again really rapidly, but not actually commit to the manifesting, you aren't slowed down and punished unnecessarily. If you do cancel a manifestation, there's a brief 1.25 second cooldown before you can start manifesting again for some reason. After manifesting successfully, Sadako will just keep flickering, just at a bit faster rate for 4 seconds. She will remain visible for half a second, and then become invisible for 0.75 seconds, alternating back and forth for that 4 seconds while she just flickers. The other method for manifesting that I mentioned is by using one of the 7 televisions that are placed around the map. These TVs are spawned at the start of the match and are always attempted to be placed within at least 16 meters of a generator. If there is some reason that a television is already spawned within 16 meters of a generator, and there's another generator within that same range, the game will attempt to keep them spread apart from each other, so you're not having TVs stacked right on top of each other. There are also certain maps, such as Crotus Pren Asylum, where it seems that the middle generator, the main building generator, just doesn't have an actual TV spawn location in the building. So it really comes down to the map, I guess, in addition to the logic that they use. Anyways, all of the televisions on the map will start turned off and will turn on 30 seconds after the match has begun. Sadako is able to see a white aura of any TV that is currently active while demanifested. By holding down left control, PC of course, she can teleport to an active television, and this teleportation will take 2.7 seconds total. After crawling out of a TV, Sadako will gain a speed boost of 150%, bringing her up to 6.9 nice meters per second, or 172.5% speed for 1.5 seconds. In addition to the speed boost, any survivor within 16 meters of a television that Sadako crawled out of will receive a stack of Condemn. We'll talk about Condemn in a little while later. Sadako-tan will also keep a little bit of Undetectable after crawling out of a TV, and the Undetectable will just linger for 1 second by default after you've crawled out of the television. Crawling out of a television will turn it off and render it unusable for more teleportations for 100 seconds. Survivors are also able to turn off TVs manually, because they aren't zoomers, by walking up to them and taking the VHS tape out of an active television. This will take a survivor 2 seconds to do, and will give a survivor a special VHS item that doesn't actually take up their item slot, but will appear to the left of their currently held active item. Taking a VHS out of a TV will disable the television for 60 seconds. After picking up a VHS as well, one TV that is currently active will become highlighted with a special aura for that survivor. This is the TV that they have to take their VHS tape to in order to get rid of it. The game will attempt to pick a TV that is somewhere between 32 and 76 meters away from wherever they've currently picked up the VHS. While holding on to a VHS, through the power of magnetism I guess, survivors are able to walk up to other active televisions and turn them off, once again making them disabled for 60 seconds. So now let's talk about Condemn and how survivors gain and lose stacks and what exactly Condemn does. There are a number of different ways to gain Condemn stacks, and a survivor has a maximum of 7 stacks before they're considered fully condemned. All survivors will be able to see how much Condemn they have with the little hash marks going around their icon. However, the killer will only know a binary of if they have it, if they don't have it, and it will turn red if they are fully condemned. So you won't know exactly how much Condemn a survivor has unless you're keeping a mental note. As I said, any survivor within 16 meters of a television that Sadako manifests out of gains 1 Condemned. Taking a VHS tape out of a TV will give a survivor 1 stack of Condemn as well. Turning off a television while holding the VHS will give them 1 stack of Condemn. And while holding on to a VHS, survivors will gain 1 Condemn per 25 seconds, because everyone knows it's a dying format. If a survivor takes their VHS to their specially marked TV, they will shed off 3 stacks of Condemn. If Sadako begins a chase with a survivor who's holding a dead medium, their Condemn progress from holding on to the tape will be paused, and will remain paused until the chase has ended and Sadako has been out of 16 meters of them for at least 6 seconds. I cannot believe we're still seeing the fallout from PTB/Release Legion 4 fucking years later. This is miraculous. Also, yes, Legion came out in 2018. It's been 4 years. You're old. Get over it. If for some reason a survivor has managed to make enough mistakes in their life to reach 7 stacks of Condemn, they will be revealed with a Killer Instinct notification for 6 seconds, and the Condemn circle around their icon will turn red. If Sadako downs a survivor who is fully condemned, she can give them her infamous glare, which will just instantly kill them. This works even if the survivor has never even seen a hook in their life, making it one of 2 ways in the game now to just straight up kill someone without ever hooking them. With all of that out of the way, let's talk about add-ons now. We start off at the common tier with Videotape Copy. This add-on will make your projection not inflict any amount of condemn to nearby survivors, but increase the amount of blood points you get for Deluge of Fear score events by 100%. It's a meme BP add-on, although given how hard it is to get Condemn fully stacked, probably not the worst one in the game. Next up is Old Newspaper. This add-on will increase the manifestation invisibility duration by 33%, bringing it up to 1 second total. Following that, we have Mother's Mirror. This add-on will increase the manifestation intermediate visibility duration by 2 seconds, bringing it up to 6 seconds total. This is the amount of time that the flickering effect happens while you are demanifested, and then you manifest again. So the one that happens after you manifest. And the final common add-on is Cabin Sign. This add-on will decrease the time it takes for a TV to turn on after using projection on it by 12 seconds, bringing it down to 88 seconds total. Moving on to the uncommon add-ons now, we start with Yoichi's Fishing Net. This add-on will decrease the time it takes for a survivor who is holding a tape to gain Condemned by 3 seconds, bring it down to 22 seconds total to gain a single stack of Condemned. Next up is Wellstone. This add-on will decrease the time it takes for a TV to turn back on after being turned off by a survivor by 6 seconds, bringing it down to 54 seconds total. Following that is Sea-Soaked Cloth. This add-on will make it so while survivors are within 8 meters of a powered television, they will suffer from the blindness status effect, and this effect will linger for 7 seconds after the TV is turned off or after they leave the area of effect. And the area of effect bubble is pretty noticeable for survivors. It's like static around the TV. Next up is Reiko's Watch. This add-on will increase the duration of invisibility while demanifested by 50%, bringing it up to 1.5 seconds total. This is the amount of time you will stay invisible during the flickering while you're in range for survivors to see you, but you are still demanifested. And the final uncommon add-on is Clump of Hair. This add-on will decrease the range at which the Onryō is visible while demanifested by 6 meters, bringing it down to 18 meters total. Moving on to rare add-ons now, we start with Well Water. This add-on will increase the duration of the undetectable status effect by 2 seconds when manifesting by any means, bringing it up to 2 seconds total of lingering undetectable if you manifest manually, and 3 seconds if you manifest by projecting to a TV. Next up is Ring Drawing. This add-on will make condemned survivors spread Condemned to other survivors who complete a healing action on them. That pretty much does what it says. After that is Rickety Pinwheel. This add-on will make survivors within 8 meters of a powered television suffer from the Oblivious status effect, and this effect will linger for 7 seconds after the television is turned off or they leave the area of effect. Next up is Mother's Comb. This add-on will reveal the aura of any TV that is turned off by any means with a yellow aura. Pretty self-explanatory. The final rare add-on is Bloody Fingernail. This add-on will increase the duration of the projection bonus movement speed by 50%, bringing it up to 2.25 seconds of zooming around at the nice meters per second, 6.9 meters per second, after you project to a TV. Going up a tier now, the first very rare add-on is VCR. This add-on will make all televisions play the projection effect when you project to any television. That's it. And the next add-on is Telephone. Just Telephone. This add-on will make manifestation afflict survivors within 7 meters with a hindered status effect for 3 seconds. This is coded to not affect manifesting through a television, though for some reason I don't know why. Next up is Tape Editing Deck. This add-on will make survivors start the trial with a tape in their possession and have their targeted TV try and be the furthest one away from them. And finally we have Distorted Photo. This add-on will make survivors that witness a manifestation happen within 16 meters of them scream out, revealing their location with the scream bubble notification for 4 seconds. So let's talk about Sadako's ultra rare add-ons now. We start with Remote Control, which is how, you work a TV. This add-on will make it so any survivor within 16 meters of a TV you project to, who are also carrying a VHS tape, have their aura revealed for 7 seconds. And the final ultra rare add-on, and the final add-on in general, is Iridescent Videotape. I think this one needs a nerf. It will make any survivor who is within 16 meters of a TV that you project to just get instantly downed. I'm joking, of course. That would be hilariously broken and probably make more players quit DBD than Elden Ring already has. This add-on will actually make it so that hitting a survivor within 8 seconds of manifesting turn on the last 4 TVs that were turned off due to you projecting to them. So now let's get into the teachable perks you'll unlock when you put your blood points into Sadako. At level 30, you'll unlock the teachable for the perk Scourge Hook, Floods of Rage. Floods of Rage, quite obviously a Scourge Hook perk, it's in the name, so 4 of the hooks around the map will become Scourge Hooks. Whenever a survivor is unhooked from a Scourge Hook, the aura of every other survivor will be revealed for 5/6/7 seconds. At level 35, you'll unlock the teachable for the perk Call of Brine. After damaging a generator, which means kicking it, Call of Brine will activate for 60 seconds. The generator that you kicked will regress at 150/175/200% speed and have its aura highlighted for you. Anytime a survivor completes a good skill check on a generator afflicted by Call of Brine, you will receive a loud noise notification at that generator. And finally, at level 40, you'll unlock the Teachable for the perk Merciless Storm. Merciless Storm will make it so that anytime a generator reaches 90% completion, any survivor working on it will be faced with a continuous ring of skill checks. If they miss a skill check or stop preparing the generator will become blocked for 16/18/20 seconds. Merciless Storm is only allowed to trigger once per generator. So now let's get into some tips for playing Sadako Hime. Given how new she is, there isn't going to be a 100% best way to play her, as it normally takes a while for all the insane people that just main a single killer to iron out what exactly is considered correct and wrong. But I'll give general tips based on my honestly limited time playing her because I've been extremely sick in the past few months and also Elden Ring. Obviously, the strongest point of her kit is her ability to teleport right next to generators to keep pressure up. If you see a survivor miss a skill check If you see a survivor miss a skill check on a generator, or have a perk that lights up a generator that survivors are on, and you aren't already in a chase, you can project on over and get your pressure up, because you basically know that there's going to be a survivor on that generator, and your TVs are, normally, within 16 meters of the generators. As is basically the most common advice for playing killer, pressure is king, and any way that you can keep it up is probably the best thing that you can be doing at any given point in time. Obviously, don't drop a chase unless you know that the generator is just about to be finished because of Tinkerer maybe, and the survivor you're chasing is running to a very stupidly strong loop setup. Just kind of, make sure to use your brain and think things through before you do them. You can also use the teleportation mid-chase in a pinch if you see a survivor running towards a powered-up television, and you need to close a little bit of distance. This can sometimes catch them off guard, especially if they aren't paying close attention, and the extra speed boost might net you an easier hit than if you just held W towards them. Just be extra careful with targeting on televisions, since sometimes they will be slightly overlapping, and you could teleport all the way to Brazil and just lose the chase entirely. And the second strongest part of her kit, and I might even argue that it might be tied for being stronger than the teleportation, or at the same level of strength, is just her innate stealthiness. On top of only having a 24 meter tear radius baseline, and being shorter than Tyler 1, just having undetectable while you're demanifested is pretty good. That, in addition to the flickering effect lingering a little bit after you manifest, can make mind gaming some pallet loops a little bit easier. You should be using the stealth to your advantage as much as you can, and you want to try and sneak up on survivors while you're out of their line of sight, since they won't be able to hear you coming, but they will be able to see you coming if they're paying attention to the flickering, spooky ghost lady. And the weakest part of our kit is obviously Condemn. I don't think you should ever really be seriously trying to get full stacks of Condemn on survivors. It's just kind of a bonus, and you should mostly just ignore it. I think it would basically require either a super specific build or just throwing the match to be able to get a Condemn kill, and you could just play normally and probably hook them and get more than one kill. So let's talk about perk builds for Sadako-chan. Given that Sadako has some good built-in stealth and a bit of map pressure due to being able to just teleport all over the place, I think a nice balanced approach is probably the best. She's not the strongest killer in the game, so you can't really mess around with, whatever kind of perks like you can with maybe Nurse. This means you're going to need some tracking perks, maybe some barbecue and chili, surveillance, tinker, maybe even her new perk, Scourge Hook, Floods of Rage. Then a little bit of slowdown, your classic Ruin Undying, Sloppy Thana, Dead Man Pain Resonance. That kind of thing. Followed up with maybe like Enduring on the side. I'm not really sure why this turned into a cooking bit, but let's just kind of keep it going. I think the most important thing when making a nice meal of Sadako perk build is really balance. You need some of that savory tracking to balance out the saltiness of the slowdown, and maybe a little garnish of utility to really give it that extra bit. My ideal 3-course meal might look something like barbecue and chili as a starter, followed off by a main course of Scourge Hook Pain Resonance with a side of Dead Man Switch, all followed off with a nice dessert of Scourge Hook Floods of Rage. This perk meal plan might not be to your liking, you might be vegan, and you might want to try substituting ingredients to make it your own. This bit went way too far, but after dozens of these videos I have to do something to keep myself sane. So now let's move on to meme builds for Sadako. Tan? I've run out of honorifics to use, and this joke has not gone anywhere. The first meme build is Jump Scare Sadako. For this build, you're mainly going to want to be relying on the add-ons Clump of Hair and Well Water. You might want to swap out some of the add-ons for Rickety Pinwheel or VCR, since they both kind of accomplish the same thing of scaring survivors, but in a different manner. Either way, the concept's kind of just the same. You want to use your undetectable status effect and general stealthiness to just scare survivors to death, and maybe quite literally if you can get 7 stacks of Condemn somehow. If you want to get really deep with the build, you can bring a bunch of Terror Radius and stealth perks, stuff like Dark Devotion, Hysteria, Hex Third Seal, Hex Plaything, Monitor and Abuse. I'm sure you know which ones you like bringing if this type of build is your jam. The second meme build is Sadako's Generator Side Chat. That reference will probably go over a lot of your heads, and that's okay because it's too old of a reference for even me, despite what my Discord users claim. For this build, you're going to want to bring the add-ons Iridescent Videotape and Distorted Photo. You'll probably want to bring some generator tracking perks like Discordance, Tinker, Surveillance, something like that. Basically, you want to know when survivors are on generators and which generators, so you can teleport to the TV near them and have a nice chat with the whole family. Iridescent Videotape will hopefully keep all of your TVs powered on, so you can continue to have these nice TV side chats with the whole family, just like ye olden days with the president. And that's it for this episode of Entity Education, covering the Onryō, word that I can't pronounce properly, probably better known as Yamamura Sadako, or just Sadako. As always, links to social media, Twitch stream, Patreon, all that stuff in the description. Leave a like if you liked the video and learned something. Sub if you want more in the future. Thanks as always for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully I'm not horribly sick for the few months after the killer releases. Goodbye.